When a sailor dies during an active deployment at sea, there's no quick way to bring the body home. Out here, surrounded by nothing but water and sky, the U.S. Navy carries out one of its most precise and deeply respectful traditions, a burial at sea. What you're about to witness is a ceremony so exact, so sacred, that every movement, every word, every second is planned with military precision. A burial at sea is far from routine. It's reserved for moments when there is no other option, or when it's someone's final wish. If a sailor dies aboard a Navy ship during an active deployment, there may be no way to return them to land for days, sometimes even weeks, or maybe even a month or more. In these cases, the captain has the authority to approve a burial at sea. But it's not limited just to active duty deaths either. Veterans and retired service members can also request this ceremony in advance. Many do. Some just want to return to the sea one last time, the place where they served, where they lived part of their life in uniform. The process begins through the Navy Casualty Office, which handles all formal procedures. For deaths of active duty members, that office coordinates with the ship's commanding officer and the chaplain. Paperwork begins immediately, notifications are made, and every step is recorded with precision. For those who requested the ceremony while alive, their remains are transferred to a ship scheduled to deploy. Their burial is carried out while the vessel is underway, usually during calm conditions, and always with full honors. It's not taken lightly. A burial at sea is both a necessity of distance and an act of respect. Once the decision is made, the preparation begins quietly, thoroughly, and according to Navy protocol. The body is first moved to a secure compartment on board, the space known as the ship's morgue or temporary refrigeration unit. If refrigeration isn't available, the process is carried out quickly to preserve dignity. A small team, usually including a medical officer and a designated burial detail, begins with the cleansing ritual. The body is washed carefully and respectfully. No shortcuts, no improvisation. Every step is guided by written procedure, honed by decades of practice. Afterward, the sailor is dressed in their full dress blue uniform, the Navy's most formal ceremonial attire. The uniform includes a jumper, trousers, white gloves, and the appropriate rank insignia. All medals and decorations earned in life are placed where they belong. Even in death, appearance matters. At this point, the chaplain begins preparations for the ceremony. A short service is written, often drawing from scripture or naval tradition. The language is simple, direct, and non-denominational unless otherwise specified by the sailor's records. Meanwhile, the boatswain's mate, a deck specialist responsible for seamanship and ceremonial order, coordinates the burial team. He ensures that each crew member knows their position, the timing of the movements, and the sequence of signals. The boatswain also manages the ship's bell and ceremonial pipe, both of which play a key role in what comes next. Everything is rehearsed in advance, nothing is improvised. On a Navy ship, ceremony is built on discipline, and discipline is built on respect. Before the ceremony begins, the ship itself must be prepared. Out here, the sea doesn't wait, but for this moment, the Navy makes it pause. The officer of the deck gives the command, "All hands, clear the deck." Normal operations stop, non-essential personnel stand down. Only mission-critical systems continue running. The ship reduces speed, usually to around 5 to 10 knots. This isn't about ceremony, it's about control. A slower ship cuts more cleanly through the water. Less movement, fewer shifts underfoot. Stability matters. The helmsman adjusts course, turning the ship broadside to the wind and the waves. That alignment minimizes rolling and pitching, making the deck as still as possible. There's no music, no broadcast, no announcements, but there is silence. Not the silence of grief, the silence of discipline. Weapon systems are secured. Flight operations, if ongoing, are temporarily suspended. Even engineering spaces reduce non-essential activity to minimize background vibrations and mechanical hum. The area where the ceremony will take place, usually aft on the flight deck or fantail, is swept, cleared, and marked. From bow to stern, every sailor knows this isn't just a pause in operations. It's a transformation. For the next hour, this warship becomes something else entirely, a place of honor, a place of farewell. As the ship steadies, the crew begins to assemble. One by one, sailors take their places along the deck, forming a single line on either side. Feet shoulder-width apart, hands folded behind their backs, eyes forward. No movement, no talking. Each member knows exactly where to stand. This isn't casual, it's coordinated. From junior enlisted to senior chiefs, Everyone follows a diagram issued in advance. The alignment is exact. It's not just about appearance, it's about respect through discipline. At the front stands the executive officer, or XO, next to the senior chief petty officer. Both are in full dress uniform, motionless. The chaplain takes position near the burial capsule. The honor guard, selected for their precision and bearing, stands to either side. The captain remains separate. He doesn't join the formation. His role is different. He observes, detached but present. There are no spoken commands once the formation is set, just the sound of waves and wind moving past steel. This isn't a performance, it's a posture. It's a physical statement of unity and reverence. Everyone faces the sea and they wait. If you're still with me, hit that subscribe button right now, because what happens next is one of the most powerful moments in naval tradition. The moment begins with a single sound. A sharp, high-pitched whistle cuts through the wind. The boatswain's call, a ceremonial pipe, signals the start of the service. It's not for the crew, it's for tradition. A naval language older than even radio. 3 tones, then silence. The ship's bell is rung 3 times. The bell is solid brass, polished until it shines. Each strike echoes down the line of sailors, across steel into the water. Then the voice of the chaplain rises, calm, even without any theatrics. He reads the name of the fallen sailor, their rank, their years of service, nothing more. No personal stories, no eulogies. This is not about memory, it's about recognition. The chaplain speaks a brief prayer. The words are simple, often drawn from scripture or naval tradition, and may include phrases like, "We commit this body to the deep, to rest in the embrace of the sea, in the sure and certain hope of eternal peace." For those who had no specific faith, the words are adjusted, but the dignity never changes. At the conclusion of the prayer, the honor guard steps forward. They carry the flag-covered body with exacting control. 6 sailors in full dress uniform lift the capsule or shroud. Their movements are practiced and slow. There are no barked orders, no visible strain. Each step is synchronized, each turn is measured. The pace is deliberate, just slow enough to match the seriousness of the task. The body is carried to the ship's edge, usually the aft deck facing open sea. Before the final commit, the flag is removed. This is done with the utmost care. The team folds it into a triangle, 13 precision folds, each respecting the values of service and sacrifice. The stars face outward, the stripes are hidden inside. Nothing is rushed. The flag will be preserved, labeled, and returned to the sailor's family, either hand-delivered by a uniformed officer or presented at a later ceremony. It is not buried, it is not lost. When the flag is secure, the captain gives a silent nod. That's the only signal needed. At that cue, the burial team tilts the capsule forward. There is no sound, no final words, no music, just gravity and the sea. The body sinks below the surface. The formation holds position, no movement, no command, just procedure. In some ceremonies, the chaplain adds a final line. May this sailor find calm seas and a safe harbor beyond. In others, nothing is said. The silence is intentional. Unlike on land, there's no ground to lower a casket into, no bugle, no visitors. But see, the ritual ends when the body is gone, and yet nothing feels incomplete. This is the Navy's oldest goodbye, a ceremony not for crowds but for the crew. Witnessed not by family but by shipmates, by those who lived and worked beside the fallen in the same corridors, under the same orders. There is no applause, no salutes after the drop. No one breaks formation for a few more minutes. Everything stays still. Then one final sound, a single whistle from the boatswain. The signal to conclude. The ceremony is over, but no one moves until the captain gives the order. Because out here, the silence is sacred. The sailors remain at attention. The ocean has taken the capsule. The water settles, but the crew does not move, not until the captain gives the word. That word is simple, 2 words. Carry on. With that, the formation quietly breaks. No rush, no footsteps out of sync though. Each sailor steps off in the same order they arrived. No one speaks, no one needs to. On the bridge, the helmsman brings the ship back to its original course. The throttle eases forward from 5 knots to 15. The engine's rhythm returns. Systems reactivate. Routines restart. A warship becomes a warship again. But for a few moments, it was something else. A vessel of farewell. A place where time slowed and attention narrowed to a single moment, a single life. The folded flag is logged, stored, and secured for delivery. The honor guard returns to duty. The chaplain returns below. But the memory of the ceremony remains on deck, imprinted in silence, carried in posture, understood without a word being spoken. Nothing more is added. Nothing needs to be, just the sea, the wind, and the ship moving forward. There are no monuments out here, no headstones, no flowers placed at a grave. At sea, a burial leaves no visible mark, no trace but the memory of the moment. For civilians that may seem distant, unfamiliar, but for sailors it makes perfect sense. The ocean was home, a place of duty, of rhythm, of watch rotations and steel decks. To be buried in it is not strange, it's fitting. This ceremony is not for spectacle, it's not for comfort. It's for precision, for tradition, for the deep-rooted idea that even in death order and honor must remain. Every detail, from the folding of the flag to the tilt of the capsule to the stillness of the formation, is done so the crew can say one last thing without ever actually saying it. You mattered, you served, we remember, and then carry on. If this gave you a new perspective on how the Navy honors its fallen, smash that like button right now. Drop a blue heart in the comments to honor those who have been laid to rest at sea. Subscribe for more real stories from the world's navies, stories that deserve to be told with the respect they command. And if you want to support this channel directly, join the fleet. You get loyalty badges, priority responses, and you help us bring more true maritime stories to the surface. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.